How to create a campaign email sequence using MailingBoss inside BuilderAll. Let's go. And don't forget, if you have found these videos to be of use to you, then please be a good sport and subscribe, like and share the videos. Alrighty, the topics that we'll cover in these very short videos are: I'll explain why it's important to have an email sequence. I'll demonstrate how to activate a sequence once it's created. I'll also show you at least 2 types of campaigns and the very importance of connecting it to an email list. I will show you how to do a HTML email as well as a plain text email. So to demonstrate, I'm going to propose an exercise where I'll show you how to create campaign names listing as week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 and week 5. Throughout each campaign, I'll give it a separate email subject such as CPU, RAM, the hard disk, graphics, sound, and a network card. So let's begin with the first question. Why do we have an email nurture sequence? Why do we need one? So here's what I found out from Google. A nurture sequence, sometimes called an email nurture series, is an automated series of emails that someone receives when they subscribe to your email list. Here's the important bits. It starts to build trust with your subscribers and nurture them down the funnel. And that's the key point of it. You want to keep that relationship with your subscriber who you probably never seen face to face. And you do that through a series of emails that's sent at regular intervals. Alright, let's move on to the next bit. So what you're looking at right now is the MailingBoss screen. Over here, let me bring this to your attention. This is the name of the sequence that I'm going to create for you. So in the end, this is what I want to achieve, and I want you to do the same as an exercise. This is the screen that we're looking at. Now I'm going to recreate this for you for your benefit, but in the meantime, I'm going to start from scratch, and I can do this by deleting this sequence. This is the round button with the X inside it. I'm going to click on it. As you can see, it's very nicely, it will ask you, do you really want to delete this item? I'm going to go ahead and say yes to it. Just to reiterate what we just read, this is just a diagram to demonstrate the power of a sequence email. So for instance, you might set up a campaign like a landing page where people opt in, press the submit button, and they automatically subscribe to your mailing list. In this case, I'll call it DIY PC. So as soon as that's been processed, BuilderAll through MailingBoss will be able to send the first email to the subscriber, called email 1. Now we can also program email 2 to come 1 week after they subscribe into the list, email number 3, 2 weeks after, email number 4, 3 weeks after, email number 5, 4 weeks after. Now, just as a reminder, it doesn't have to be weeks. It can be a day, could be hours, could be even a month. It all depends on what your preference is and what you're trying to achieve. Right, let's move on to the next step. As promised, I will show you how to create that very important email sequence. We begin by the home page of the MailingBoss. Under the menu for campaign, I'm going to click the drop down arrow and we're going to choose email sequence. Next step, we're going to click on the create button, create new that is. So at the next screen refresh, this is what's going to be facing us. In the interest of time and keeping things simple, I'm just going to pre-populate some of the fields, and if it's important to do so, I'll highlight the fields that are going to be really crucial as part of this project. Okay, bear with me guys. Okay, so this is the name we're going to give to this new email sequence called DIY PC course. Now from the list is a drop down area. It will search through all the existing lists that you've got in BuilderAll. So I've got one called Barcelona Computing Club. If you remember from episode 2, I show you how to create one. At the moment, there's no subscriber in this list, and that's because I haven't promoted the club itself. Okay, we're going to skip segment for the time being, but I'll click on it just to show you what are the options. They're not important at this stage, but the next bit deserves a bit of explanation. So it depends on what context you're trying to achieve. If you think you want to send this new email sequence to even people who are actual subscribers already, this is the first choice you must select. Otherwise, in our case, we have no subscribers, so it probably makes sense to have send to current and future subscribers as our options. So it's like a little wizard. All we need to do, click on the save and edit sequence email, and let's move on to the next step. So I'm going to do that right now. So now we'll get into the real meat and potato area of this, like the real engine room behind this. Again, for the sake of simplicity, I'll just do a quick mock-up of email so you get the total concept. What you're looking at is the very first email that starts from this email sequence we've just created. Like all emails, we are able to create all sorts of elements that we added into the email. So I'll just do one just to do a short demonstration. I'm going to click on the image element and drop it right there. There you go. Now again, always, the last part of this section, if it's highlighted in blue, such as unsubscribe URL, leave that alone. As part of the Can Spam Act, you must leave your details about your company. Your address, who you are, and a company name must be part of that every email. You don't want to get in trouble at all. Alright. So to begin with our first email, let's give it a subject name. We'll call that CPU. Now that's been reflected on the left here. To reflect this is the subject we're going to give to the subject line of this email. And we're going to call this our week 1 campaign. Now the next step is crucial. You got to hit the done button, otherwise all your work won't be saved. Hey, okay, if you're following, great. So far so good. You're doing really well. Remember what I said before, once you create an email list, you got to activate it as well. Otherwise it's just sitting there waiting for something to happen. So the way to do this is move over to the left hand side. There's a little play button. It actually designates the action of activate or pause. I'll just leave it pause for the time being. If you decided this is not the email you want, easy. You just click on this garbage bin and the whole campaign will be deleted. So we've got our first campaign name to this email called week 1. So we're going to add on week number 2 as the next email. Next step we're going to do is click on this add email button. So I'm going to click on that for you. Now that we've got our second email template loaded, it's looking a lot like an email sequence. So I'll just put in the next subject line, which I like to highlight to call HDD. Let's give it another campaign name, week number 2. Again, what did I say? You gotta save your work. So I'm going to press done for you. Oh, excellent. So now we've got email number 2 locked in. The next bit of crucial information we've got to do is to tell BuilderAll when are we going to send the second email. Now, move over your mouse over to the left hand side. It's like a little clock on this single line here. I want you to click on this and it'll bring up your next screen. It gives you the option, when do you want to send this email? In our case, we're going to send it 1 week after. So let's choose week and change it from 0 to 1. Let's save our change. BuilderAll will reflect the changes. As you can see, the first email, which is the correct one, followed by the second one, it will be sent 1 week after the subscriber subscribed to our list. So I'm going to keep going, adding a few more of our emails up to week number 5. and I'll be back right soon. Alright, I've keyed in all the emails as part of this email sequence list. I hope it looks the same for you as well as what I got on the screen. So we've got 0 days, which means as soon as someone subscribes, they get an email sent to the inbox straight away. And after the first email, it'll be followed by the second email, third email, and so forth. I will now take you back to the home page of the campaign menu. I'll let you see what it looks like after we created this email sequence. So here we are. It looks identical to the one where we began with. If you'd like to see a more close examination of the campaigns we created, we just need to hit this Manage Campaign button right here. When the screen refreshes, you're brought to the page where BuilderAll lists on its record all the campaigns that you created. And again, we'll see these icons appearing on each of these records. One of the things that I didn't mention, I'm going to mention to you, is very important. We're going to update this campaign and I'll demonstrate. So remember how I said there are two types of autoresponders? There's one called autoresponder, that is when someone subscribes to your email list, MailingBoss will automatically send email on your behalf. So it will be like a sequence. The other type that you're allowed to create is a regular broadcast. And a broadcast is listed under the drop-down list. The difference between a broadcast, regular broadcast, and autoresponder is this. Broadcast simply allows you the facility to email just once only to people on your mailing list. So for instance, you have an example where you have a special on 4 GB of RAM that you like to sell from next Friday. You're going to have a special 40% off discounted price. You may decide to create a broadcast regular email, an email blasted to everyone on your list 4 days before the sale, and the email will hit their inbox only once. Okay, I think you've done really well so far to look at the list. I've come to the end of the video. As always, if you got any questions, please comment on my video. Thank you for watching my segment, and I'll see you on the next one. And don't forget, if you have found these videos to be of use to you, then please be a good sport and subscribe, like, and share the videos.